Hi everyone, just looking at my screen because it wasn't focusing properly, but I think it is now. Right, welcome to the next episode from this Ivy and the Inky Butterfly page. I am going to be working a little more on this little pot here and then just seeing where the time takes us really. Let's just move the book across a little bit. We're going to come in a little bit closer to this sort of corner pot. I'm going to try and put it in the centre. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm just going to pop my book underneath my pencils. There we go. Okay, now I've decided that I'm going to colour this little container in a silvery type colour. A bit like we did for the swords, I guess. So I'm going to do that first and then proceed with the items inside probably. So I'm going to start with the coal grey 5. Now it's not the darkest grey, but I might want a darker grey a little bit later. So I thought I would start with one that wasn't quite so dark. And what I'm going to do is just start applying it here and then beginning to fade it like that. And we'll do exactly the same on the other side. And I'm going to try and do what I usually do for ease. That bit's going to be quite dark, there'll be shadowy in there. Is to try and sort of make it look like it's shining in the centre, like we did for the goblet up there. I'm just trying to decide about these bits and bobs. I think I'm going to colour over them at the moment, and then I'm not pressing down too hard though. And then I'm going to use some darker colour in a bit. I think we'll get the basics down and then think about that. I'm sure it'll work. So just getting some darker grey all around here, just gently, and sort of fading it off a little bit. There we go. So now I'm going to go for a slightly lighter grey. Where should we go? I think we'll go the coal grey 4. So we're not jumping massively down in colour. Just the next one. I'm just starting to take it a bit further along. It can be a nice gradual process. And also it will cover bits that I missed with the other one, which is always useful. I haven't done this bottom bit yet, we'll do that in a minute. There we go. So I've been looking into decorating materials. I need to get a few different things. It's quite irritating that I can't get exactly what I want. I'm sure it's a common problem. So this is coal grey 3. We're going to sort of finish it off. Finish off this sort of initial bit. So I'm going to go right over there and take it almost to the centre. We're just, where's our centre? It's there, isn't it? Let's just leave it a little bit. So I want some primer for some. I've got a new bit of wood, just one little piece, which is smaller than the height of this book, you know, very small, that I will need to put some primer and then undercoat on. The rest of my paintwork doesn't need undercoat or primer. The wood areas just need some wood paint. Then I need some, wall paint. Now I found this paint which is condensation resistant. It sounds perfect for my bathroom needs. So I'm having a look at that, but I don't know whether it's mold resistant as well. You know, okay. There's so many things to choose from. I get so muddled, you know, with all the options. Right, thinking about this bottom bit, I think I'm going to use this colour. I just need to sharpen it a little bit to do all the little in-betweeny bits. So those round circles, they'll be gemstones. That's how I think I'll do it. So I'm just going to try and put a little bit more on the edge than towards the centre. but there'd be a lot of shadow in here from the gemstones and things, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Just treat it as a sort of separate thing almost. Okay, so there is that bit. Now coming back to this, excuse me, using my Cold Grey 5, I'm going to sharpen it, and we're going to have a look at the shape and where we might want to be putting in some shadows. My first thought is underneath this lip here, I'm going to put a little bit in here. Yeah, so, and then I want some masking tape. Now, you would think masking tape is simple. I just need one roll of quite cheap, because it's just for the floor, masking tape that's low tack that I can just pop on the floor on the edges of the cupboards to protect them from me splatting paint everywhere. There's all sorts of expensive masking tape. There's different types of different brands. The cheap brand only sells in I want to make it look like these are slightly standing out, so I'm going to put a little bit of shadow around them, and then we're going to do a little bit more with them as well. So the cheap ones you can only buy in packs of 4 or 6, and they come to the same price as one roll of expensive tape. And it's like, I just want one roll of cheap tape. So that's a bit frustrating. I have found some, the wood primer I found was on offer, so that was quite good, but it was still £12 for the smallest tin I could find. And but I found a place, home base, they deliver, which is brilliant, because it's, I need to get on with this job really, but I can't carry from home base. We do have one, but it's sort of almost a half an hour walk, and paint is heavy, so yeah, I could take the kids with me, but I thought maybe if I buy enough to have it delivered, then I might get free delivery, so it might be worth it. And also the cheap primer that I found isn't in the local store. It's, of course, they have limited stock. Excuse me. So that makes a bit of a difference. So I've got a step that I want to buy to help me reach the ceiling. I found that, that's good. I could do with some sort of, I've got some cardboard to protect the floor. I don't think I really need plastic because it's a bathroom floor, so if the wet seeps through the cardboard, if I drop loads of paint, it'll be fine. The floor will cope with wet. But just darkening that a bit more there. But if you know, I don't want to have to be scraping paint off the floor particularly. So there's that I was looking at. I'm sure that I found some paint brushes. Now I sometimes use a roller, but it's messy. Rollers are splattery, so I thought maybe it's better if I use a paintbrush. So I've got some paint brushes. I need those for the wood anyway. And what we've decided is we're going to paint the room white, which sounds really boring. It is, but the paints that we need to either protect from condensation or mould and things like that, because it's a bathroom, don't come in colour, and it feels wrong to sort of put that on and then put a coloured paint on top, because then you might be negating the whatever is in the paint, which helps to protect the surface. And we're just quite desperate because the shower is so high. The what's it called, tray, the shower tray is so high that everyone's very tall. The water hits the ceiling off the head even without condensation. But this looks quite excuse me, it looks quite grey. It doesn't to me look very very shiny. I'm going to use a little bit of black on it, but I don't think that's going to help with the shine, and then we'll get some white on there a bit later, I think. So here's my black, and I'm going to do a little bit under this lip here. I feel that this bit down here would be shadowed a bit, so I'm just going to put a bit of black under there to start with, and then I'm going to emphasize some of these shadows, like here. I feel like if I put black in there, it really makes it look like it's a deeper shadow, and therefore the item's standing out even more. Same sort of here. I'm just being careful where I'm putting it, thinking about where the shadows would actually lie. I think like that, under there and there. I'm just looking in the camera, because sometimes it's easier to sort of look that way because it's smaller. I can see whether the effect is obvious enough. If that makes sense. I can do the same over here, a bit under there. I think all the way under here. There we go. So yeah, normally painting isn't that hard. I've got some leftover white paint from when I painted the bathroom before, but it was supposed to be like bathroom paint and mold resistant, but it didn't work, so that wasn't very successful. Now I put a bit of black in here, I think, just to make that look really dark. Now what I'm thinking is if I can get a white, oops, where's my white, there it is, and go around some of this, I think it'll make it look shinier. So I'm thinking like the top here, the top edge, if I can put some, eliminate that black line, like that, maybe these, but leave them as white, and then it might look more like there's some sort of shine. It's not going to stand out hugely. I'm not going to do the lower line here because that helps to emphasize the shadow underneath the lip. So we're going to be like do the top of this bit here and the top of this bit here, but not the bottom bit. So here we'll do this bit and this bit and there. I'm not sure how well that's working. I'm going to keep trying. And just sort of think about where the light is going to be mainly hitting our items, which is going to be sort of on the top edge. Rather than at the bottom, and it's a little bit fiddly. Hopefully worth the effort. It's fun anyway. Hopefully it will be a bit more obvious as to what I'm doing. Once it's done, this one, if I put white on there, it's just going to disappear back. Maybe that's okay though. A bit on there. I think that does look more embossed. Is that the right word? So that's okay. It's not perfect, but I'm going to leave it there because I'm not really sure what else to do. We're going to do these little gemstones though. I'm just having a look at what colours we've got around here. We've got a purpley pink, we've got a red, a blue, we've got this sort of green. We could choose a different green, like a pine green. Let's try that. Where are you, pine green? I always think this one is fairly good for gemstones. We'll see how it looks. areas pine green. And what we're going to do is the same as we've done for other circular items. That end one is tricky, but to try and layer it up more on the outside edge and a bit less in the centre. And just work along, swirling away. Fun, I think. Now this bottom part doesn't seem, down here doesn't seem to have much grey in it, so I might put a little bit more in there in a while. It's not as gemstony emerald looking as some of the greens, but I don't think it's totally wrong. It's nice to have a bit of a different colour. There we go. So I'm going to grab a grey. I think I used the 4. Is that right? IV4. Yeah. Just start filling in these a little bit. The centre ones don't need too much. I'm thinking a bit of shadow. I'm going to actually use a black for a bit of shadow. So, can you see? You can. Just getting worried there, they can't see. So a bit under here, emphasise underneath them. It might just be that being a little bit too fussy, and maybe a little bit around the edge of each of these. I'm not pressing very hard at all. I don't want it to look like I put black there, I just want it to look a little bit darker. And I'm going to put my white on there. It might be, I might regret doing it now, but there's a bit of shine on each one so that they stand out as gemstones. There we go. Now inside our container we've got all sorts going on, so let's get some colours in there. Where should we start? Let's start with a sort of, let's start with an orange. I'm thinking this one and this one might work. I think only 2 we were using, weren't we, for our slightly smaller gemstones. So I've got an orange glaze to start with, and then I've actually got this dark chrome yellow. I think that could be an interesting. I'm going to do this one here. So again, a sort of random corner. If I put my hand this side, then I won't smudge that white pen. It should be dry by now, really. So a little bit here and just fade it. Now, because I'm using a yellow with it, I want to make sure my fade is quite good so that they blend nicely. But I think it'll be fine. I might do that bit all the way along there. Fade it in like that. And a bit on that side. It's not always easy to try and think about how to make it random. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil, my yellow. This is quite an orangey yellow, you'll see when it goes down. Dark chrome yellow. And just going to extend each of those little areas now. Got a bit of white pen there. We'll put some white pen on this anyway eventually. Try and leave a space for sort of where it's going to look like it's a bit shiny. It's quite hard in such a small area, but we'll leave that one there. Well, what I will do is do the white pen at the end once we've done all of the shapes. This one nestling in here, I think it needs a red. Maybe we'll do a really dark pinky red. So I'm thinking maybe the, what's that colour? The madder. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, maybe a madder and a pink carmine. We'll try that. I'm going to have to sharpen them. Blunt. Oh, this one's rolling along the desk. There we go. So here is our madder, which is our darker one. It's going to go into this one. I'm wondering whether just one colour would be enough. Possibly. Particularly look this teeny tiny corner. But we'll see. because there's not much space, is there, to fade it? Maybe it will be just the one here. Take that one up from the bottom, put that one from the side. It's a little bit easier to fade it into such a small space with just one pencil, so maybe I will stick with just the one. Do a sort of diagonal action for that one. Not sure what I'm doing with this, like that. There we go. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I think, is just do the one. I'm going to put my pink carmine away, and when it comes to, in a minute, I'll put some black pencil, not pen, in some areas of some of them, and then that will darken it up a little bit without needing another colour. I think that might be what we did with these teeny tiny ones that are just out of shot. This one has got lots of little facets in it, hasn't it? Look at that. Now I feel that we're needing a green, a sort of bright green. What have we used? What have we not used? It's probably more like it. Let's use the phthalo green. I'm just going to pick this one and see how it goes. I might add something else after. But these little segments are so teeny tiny that I may not need more than this one colour. I definitely won't. You can just gently fade it. Excuse me. I think I had some plans for that perfume bottle there when I was looking at this last time. I haven't done this for a few days because I stopped to do the planner. Excuse me. Which obviously interrupted this series, and it will do because it's just the nature of how I do things. The planner is an immovable feast, and although I could have sort of shifted around my morning video, that was a series as well, so yeah, it was just how it was really. 2 long series with the planner interrupting. But I was sort of hoping I might get this whole page done so that I could give my members a preview, but I don't know if I will get it done. They're quite long videos. Now, just looking at how long I've been recording for. So I'm going to go in here for this one and then fade towards the outside. This one I'm going to start here. Just doing them all a bit differently. This one come in from this side, sort of diagonal angle, and then this one up like that. So there's that one. Again, just the one colour, I think it's fine. As I say, I will be putting some black in. Now these are our sort of more flat looking ones. I'm thinking I quite like a purple in here. This one's quite close to this purple up here. You can't see out the beads, so I might do the purple one down here. And I might grab maybe the manganese. No, purple violet is rather pretty. Maybe that'll work. Let's give this a sharpen. I'm still not sure whether I'm happy, to be completely honest with you, with the what's the word for it? The wall hanging, or whether I feel it needs a bit more work. I think until I've done the rest of this page and looked at the done the background and everything, I probably won't really properly make up my mind. Just fade that up from the bottom and the top like that. Got a little bit of shine. There we go. Right, next one. Which you pop in here. I quite that's orange and yellow, but I'm thinking, do we want a yellowy colour? Yeah, let's use this. Let's try a, oh, itchy. Yeah, I've been really itchy today. I don't know whether it's hormones. I feel very hormonal. This is a light yellow ochre, and I know with the menopausal symptoms, itching can be a thing. I don't know whether it's to do with that, or whether I've just got a bit shampoo on my ear. Something like that going on. There we go. Not sure how well that works. in a yellow, but I feel like it was missing a colour, if you know what I mean. There's a bunch of colours trying to be random. I'm going to do a really, really dark blue. I'm going to use actually the dark indigo for this one here. Yeah, just trying to work out how to do this central bit. I think I'll fade it really quickly like that, and then quickly up from there. Now if you can't work out how to fade it, do this instead. So do your very, very, very lightest tone like that, as light as you can, and take it nearly all the way down. Then do another light one and take it down, and another, and you're building up here until you've got a nice dark bit there, and just lighter area down there. This looks almost a bit metallic, doesn't it, this colour? What is weird is that looks blue and that looks black. I don't really know why, because this pencil doesn't normally do that and behave, because some pencils give different colours when you colour with different bits of the lead. Polychromos don't do that. Now I want this to be a pink, sort of pale pink ribbon and sort of perfume, so I'm just going to start by sharpening my pink madder lake. I'm going to do that for the sort of delicate pink ribbon and then work from there really. Oh, my desk is creaking. I'm expecting a plumber at any time. I'm thinking probably maybe a little bit later than now, but the doorbell might go because they came yesterday to fix the leaky radiator and it's still leaking. I mean, I guess I thought it would, because I said, oh, shall I leave the cloth underneath, you know, a towel under there. Oh, it should be fine, you don't need to do that. Luckily I did leave the towel underneath because it wasn't fine. It's not like it's not like pouring out. I don't think radiator joints do that, but it'll be fine. Okay. Right, there's a little loop here that the ribbon's tied onto. I am going to do that in a silver, because I think grey and pink match better than trying to do it in a gold. We can do it really simply. So near to this bit, the bottom, do a hard bit each side and a lot of layers there, and then just a little bit here, a little bit here, and we've got what looks hopefully like a bit of shiny metal. We're going to do the same here, but make that white bit a little bit nearer the top. There we go. And now we've got a cork, so we can do that. I always think it needs to start with a beige, but we just don't have that sort of colour in the polys. So I'm going to use the nougat. It's not really a beige. And just, I tend to do it quite rough with cork. Cork is textured, so I might even draw on some sort of circles. I mean, this is such a small item and little detail, you're not going to barely see it, you know. I've done it now. And my bottle, I'm thinking a pink glass. My pencils are in the wrong order. I think I do a fuchsia pink because it goes really nicely with pink madder lake. Gosh, it's still raining. Just peeping outside. It's raining. So darker here, and then less towards the middle. We want to shine on our bottle too because it's glass. Well, I'm thinking it's glass like that. Do the same on the neck. Like that. And here is always a little tricky, but we've only got a little bit on this sort of shouldery bit, so we can just, I think, make it dark and fade it there. Now the label, I think we can do a light pink. I'm going back to my pink madder lake, but I want it really pale, so I'm going to try and just apply a really small amount. It's quite tricky. There we go. Right, now I'm going to grab my black. We're going to put some darker colour into our gemstones. So down in this corner. Now when applying to this orange is quite tricky because it's such a pale colour that I don't want to make it look dirty. So I'm hoping that that will do. With this one it works a little better. You can gently just pop a little bit down, and really it is only a little bit. You don't want to plaster it on because it will just turn black. We just want it to look a little bit darker in places. And I'm going over bits where I've already got quite a dark amount, you know, an intense amount of colour. I don't think it's necessary on that one at all because it's quite black anyway. There's a lot of black in this dark indigo, I think. So along there and there. Now again, this yellow is so pale. I'm going really gently, just kissing it with the pencil just a tiniest bit. Whereas this one I can go a tad darker, like that. I was thinking about whether to put any on the bottle, but I don't think I will, apart from, see, we've got this, could put a little bit of shadow under there to make it look like the bottle is shaped, and a little bit under there too. Just makes it look a little bit shaped. I mean, it's so small in the context of the whole page. Once you're looking at it from a distance, you barely notice. Right, we're going to use our white to do all the edges of our gemstone. So as we did before, we're just going to go. Now the pot underneath that we did before with white should be completely dry now, but if you are worried, it depends how juicy your pen is. If you've got quite a new white pen, it might take longer to dry, so you might want to just check it before you rub your. What I do is I just get a piece of scrap paper and use it as if it were blotting paper, just pop it on top, pat it on, and then you can see, I mean, you might have to then reapply the white paint, but it's a good way of telling without getting it all over your hands. I get enough over my hands already. I don't know if it's toxic. It's best not to risk it. I always wash my hands after I've been painting before, or colouring at all before preparing food or anything, but then I wash my hands before preparing food anyway. But I'm always a bit extra careful if I've been using any sort of gel pens or anything like that, because I don't know why, but I just have it in my head that they might be more toxic. But it's probably not true. They're probably all as bad as each other. I know Prismacolor say they are on the metallics, the metallic pencils that is. So I just think, just do this bit which I forgot. We just need to be a little bit cautious. Don't suck your pencils, pens, things like that. But I don't think it would be that bad. It's amazing actually how good the human body is at getting rid of toxins, but things like coffee is apparently a toxin, and alcohol, but the body can often cope if we're careful. I think it's excessive amounts that's the problem, but yeah. I'm not sure what to do with the perfume bottle, so I'm procrastinating by doing this one. And I'm probably going to wish I'd... Oh, my plumbers are here, I think. Right, let's get back to it. I've got to remember where I was at. You'll know, but I've been talking to a plumber. Looks like I was doing this one. My pen doesn't want... There we go. Yes, he came and had a look at it and did a bit of tweaking. So hopefully it's all sorted out now. Now up here, the black line sort of disappears into the dark colour, so I'm wondering whether to just not go over it. I think I'm going up there, thinking maybe just a little bit there. Now I'm just looking, I think they probably need a bit of extra going over in some places. I'm still contemplating whether to do a bit more down here, but I think that's okay. But you need to wait for this to dry before you go back over the bits you've missed. But I'm assuming you've missed bits. You've probably done it really well. You probably haven't missed any like me. I'm never particularly accurate. There we go. A little bit there and there. I want to do the edge of that too. It's a bit messy. There we go. I'm going to do the edge of this. Now our perfume bottle. Because it's glass, I'm thinking maybe you wouldn't see the edges. I don't usually do this, but you know, I've got a white pen in my hand. Can't be trusted. I'm going to put a little bit of shine here as well. Like that. We could go around the metal. We could go around everything. We could get really carried away. I think I go around the metal, but not the wood or the ribbon. If you feel that it needs it, you can do a bit more. I'm also thinking, do I want to go around the edge of this pot? We did with the goblet, didn't we? But we went over everything. I think I will. I think I will. I don't think it's going to do any harm. Might just help make it look a little bit more shiny somehow. There we go. Oops. There. Now, where should we move to next? How are we doing? We've got about 20 minutes before we've done an hour. We'll do about 15 minutes more. We'll move it across to this. Oh. I've got this large bowl of items. I will straighten up in a minute. I think that's reasonably straight. There we go. Now, where should we start? Well, we could start with the container. Now, I'm thinking we'll go more gold for this one, having done silver there. I sort of want to mix it up a little bit. Now, I can't remember what I used for this gold, but I'm thinking we'll try and use something a little bit different for this one. Where should we start? I'm going to actually look back and see what I used. That was the... Sure what I used actually. Never mind, I'm just going to have a go. So I'm going to start with the burnt umber. This is going to be my darkest colour. Now I want to do... just looking at the shape of the handle and the body, because I've got this rim part, it's going to stick out more. Definitely going to be dark in here, so let's just start in there. There'd be some shadow there, like that. Okay. Next, now this handle, to me it looks like this outside bit might be a little rim that's sticking out, so you can sort of pinch it here or hold it, grasp it there, and that would stop your fingers slipping off. I don't know if I'm making much sense, so I'm thinking maybe there would be like a shadow along the edge of here. So if I'm not smearing that white pen. I deny all responsibility if it has smeared. Somebody else did it. Like that. And is that a gap? I know it's not, because I'm looking at this. It's slightly twisted, isn't it? Because that bit, that bit is that bit there. I put a little bit of shadow, maybe along there and there. It's quite tricky, this. Now this bit to me looks like it would be dipped in. Quite a lot, I don't know why. It just feels to me like it would be like that. Now we're going to do the same on the other side. Suddenly very thirsty. Well, I do a little bit more of this and then get a drink. What time is it? It's 1:30. I normally have a drink at 1:30. Don't we become creatures of habit? You know, I become always thirsty at 1:30. And, you know, I've had a drink at, with my lunch, which was sort of 12ish. I ate, and then I had the drink sort of straight after it. We made it with lunch, and then it cooled a bit. It's a bit scruffy. Now we're also going to work on this. Now I'm thinking that, as I said before, this rim stands out, and this bit, and this bit. So we need some darker colour here, like that, and coming under here. And then above this one. And then in here. No, I think under here. Can redo these sort of shadowy bits at the end, or any bit really, if it needs it. And then I'm thinking these dips in here. Now we could do it in two ways. We could do it so there's a shine central, or we could do so there's a little bit in each section. I'm going to try it as a little bit in each section, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to work, but I just fancy trying something a bit different. So we're going to make this quite dark in there. And in here, and then hopefully it will look like, oops, hold on a sec, I needed to delete. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of computer work today. Erase. There we go, it's better. I'm just going to sharpen up a bit. This should help me not to do that. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't in the mood for doing a video this morning, so I was on my computer and I was mainly making some colouring index sheets for Maria Trolley books someone had asked me to do, but I also so doing ringing a plumber, organising a service of our house alarm. I did something else. Oh, yeah, that's right, I was putting some videos up that I made yesterday, the planner pages, up on YouTube, and then scheduling my Facebook and Instagram posts. See, I don't know if you notice, but I post on Facebook and Instagram when a new video is coming out, but also at sort of midnight-ish I post a picture that I've done. Now, I haven't done that. I schedule that to come out rather than, I'm I'm not up that late doing it. You can just schedule times, and I feel that because I have a video out early morning with a post about it, and then I have one out later in the day, then I thought midnight is quite a good time to release a picture, so that I like to show you what I've been doing. I haven't been doing much lately. I'm in the middle of colouring a page at the moment, which might be nice to show you, but I haven't had time to do loads of pages because I've been doing swatch charts and stuff. I did some for the Faber pencils because I done the morning videos that are going out. They might still be. I use those, and obviously not everyone's got those, as they have for any pencil brand. So I did a couple of comparison charts with Prismas and Polys. I thought doing them, I feel Prismas and Polys are some of the most popular brands, so that's what I usually do them with first. Now we're coming down here, and I'm thinking these teardrop shapes, we could make those into gemstones. So I'm just going to start doing a little bit sort of from the edge, but I'm going to put a dark bit under there. There and under here actually. And then maybe a little bit there and there too. Yeah. And then a bit there. Oh, we've got a bit of pink on there. I don't think it'll erase back particularly well. Pinks and reds are very stainy, but hopefully now I've put this dark colour on, you might not see it. I'm not sure what to do with these. I think they're probably metal. I'm going to colour over it all like this, just quite lightly, and on this side quite lightly. But then looking at the angles and things, thinking, let's put shadow under each of these. Take a bit of effort. I think it'll be worth it. It all look like there's some sort of engraving. I don't know whether do they engrave metal like this, or would it be moulded? I don't know. Husband might know. His family have a bit of silver. My family didn't. We're not that well off. Now I'm thinking that this bit might be a little bit darker than this bit that would be catching the light a bit because of where it's flat. So I'll do that. Now I'm going to start to go slightly more orangey by using the burnt sienna. Now it's not orange, but it's more of an orangey brown, and we're going to just bring some of this in. I'm not going to do too much because it's still quite a dark colour. I'm just going to extend some of the areas of colour, put a bit on that edge as well, that I've done already. So you can see it's not loads. Just gently colouring away really, a little bit on that edge there. And then I'm just going to work from one side to the other really. I might put a little bit on some of these bits, not all of it. Do need to leave room for a couple of other colours. I haven't quite decided which yet. I'm thinking as I go. Just trying to keep it symmetrical. Trying to remember what I've been doing. It doesn't need to be exactly symmetrical, don't worry about it. It wouldn't be. The light would be hitting it at different angles. It would look slightly different in different bits. The fact that it is close to symmetrical is actually wrong, but I find it easier. I'm all for easy. But it's still fiddly enough without adding more complication to it. Now we'll go into this handle a little bit there. There we go. Only a little bit, but now we're going to go for our burnt ochre. Sorry. Oh, we didn't do the bottom. I'm jumping the gun back to our sienna, burnt sienna. We need to do this bit. It's just extending all the colour here. This bit's really quick. It's nothing like as fiddly. Right, so this one, I'm going to do this quick bottom bit as well. With this one, we're just taking the colour along further towards the centre each time, really. Right, now start thinking about covering a bit more. Like that, and then just extending these bits. Quite quiet, aren't I, today? I've got lots thinking about, which isn't very entertaining, is it? Yeah. I was talking to my husband about the fact that the house is so cluttery and I want things sorted out. It's one of his biggest sources of stress is dealing with putting stuff away. He doesn't like throwing things away. He thinks it's wasteful. He doesn't like getting rid of anything because he thinks there might be use for it one day and we might have got rid of it. But we are just running out of space in the house. So I put the idea to him of a storage, putting some into storage, some stuff. Or, if and when the flat next door goes up for sale, we could buy it and use it for storage. It's quite an expensive way to get some storage, but the problem is that the money that we've got we're using as a form of income. So if we rented out it would be income, but I don't know whether we would get as much. It would be quite stressful having to deal with that as well, buying a house and going through all that and then having tenants, and I just don't think it's something I could cope with at this point in time. I'm struggling a little bit with menopausal hormones anyway, and the stresses that I have, which might not seem very major, I struggle with at times just because of the hormones. and so I don't really think I can cope with much more, so I have to be realistic in my thinking. I mean, that's why like doing this job is so good, because it's so relaxing for me. So that's good, but I do find that get a little bit jealous though, that fact that my husband gets to leave the house. Now, I never used to have this worry before, this thing before. I used to be fine working from home and like it, and I do, and it's convenient because it means that I can be here when the plumber needs to come, etc. But being the one that has to do all that as well is becoming quite the burden, and I don't know why it's suddenly become so difficult. It might just be because we're having extra things that need to be done, or as I say, it could just be my hormonal brain. So I'm not sure really what's going on in my head, but it's tricky. Right, now we can go down here and you can see that we're beginning to get a coppery look, which is nice, I think, a bit different to the colours that we've used already. And we're going to use the green gold last to add a sort of goldy look. I'm going to start down here. Now I want to leave a light bit in the centre to look like it's shiny, but we don't want to leave too much, so sort of like that. Let's hold the page. Now I'm thinking about whether I want to do any white pen work on this, because on the others we've done put a fair bit of white pen in them to try and emphasise the shine, so I might work on do some of that as well. Now let's have a go at this. I'm trying to sort of leave some white marks here and there so that we've got some areas that look shiny. Now these don't have to match the other side, as I said before. It's just getting some white bits here and there so that it looks, you can see that it's sort of supposed to be metallic. And I'm just dealing with each section at a time, just pretty much colouring over everything but leaving some white. Now where's this centre? There. Okay. Now it's a good idea to sort of deal with each section a bit at a time. Just trying to work out where I'm going next. Now this green gold is making it look a bit less coppery, but I'm okay with that. If you wanted it to look a little bit more, you could put a little bit of orange on. I think it's going to work, for me anyway. It's going to look how I want it to look. A little bit of white in there. bit down there and in here. There we go. Just check the time, that's fine. I'm just looking at the clock because I've got to put the oven on for the food we're eating tonight, but it doesn't need it quite yet. I decided to be quite lazy tonight and just throw a load of stuff in the oven and not really put much effort in, so just chop up some veg and throw them into a sort of tray bake. Really, I do really enjoy those. I don't know about the children, I have to put up with it. If they want something else they can cook it. She sounded really mean. They'll eat it, they'll be fine with it, they're not fussy. Now as I'm doing this, what I'm noticing is we're not getting a sort of so much depth in this area, and I think that I can use a black pencil to get back in there and to get that showing up a bit more. I don't think I want that in there to be completely white because it's supposed to be sunk back a bit. This is what I want to sort of look like it's in front. Hopefully I can get it working in a minute when I get my black out. No, it's still quite early, but I should go and get a coffee, I think, as I said. When I finish this, this is going to overrun this video compared to the size of the normal ones in this series. It's a long old series, long old videos. It gives you something to get your teeth into, or your pencils into. Don't be biting them, it's not good. Not good for the pencils, not good for you. Or the book. I've seen people where their pets have eaten their books. I'd go mad. I don't have pets, partly for that reason. I'm not an animal hater, but I'm not a big animal lover in the sense that I don't want them around me all the time, you know. I like watching birds and things through the window and going to the wetlands and seeing the water birds and going to the canal and that sort of thing. I love that, but I just don't want them in my house. It's just not for me. I've never had them. We didn't grow up with cats and dogs or anything. We had little budgies and things, but even so, not really the same, are they? And so it's just not something I'm used to. Now, I think I've missed a few bits. I think I've missed these bits. Now I'm going to dig in with my black pencil, not literally, here we go, black. I'm going to go under the areas where I think I want it to look darker. Now I'm not doing it particularly lightly because I really want to emphasise that. Let's have a look in the, yeah, I think that looks a lot better. I'm going to go in here too. Now we did this with our darkest brown, but I think the black really helps. Much more defined sort of shadowiness. That's a word. Shh, it is. Yeah, there we go. I asked my son this morning if he wanted as much nagging as to get his work done at uni as I did last term. I find it really tiring and difficult. And he said he wasn't sure, which wasn't, I was hoping he'd go, no, don't do it. But it's exhausting. I think I'd find it easier to do it for him, but probably not, seeing as it's something I know nothing about. But it's very difficult living with 3 procrastinators when you're not one at all. I mean, they're not, their dad's the worst. They're better than he is. Like yesterday, I said, he kept saying he was going to go out shopping. He said, was saying it all day, and by 10 o'clock he still hadn't got dressed. It was his day off, and he was doing stuff all the time, but it's like, don't say you're going to do something and then don't. Either you're doing it or you're not. I guess when I make up my mind to do something, I just do it, and I know that's enviable, and he's like, how do you do that? It's just the way I am. It's the way I've been brought up as well. When I was told that it was time to do something, it was time to do it. Whatever you were doing, however important what you were doing was, you had to go and do as you were told. Whereas he never had that sort of, and I think mine was because that's how my mother was brought up, so that was her expectation, that in how I behaved, and if I didn't do as I was told, I'd get a clip round the ear. But we don't use that sort of discipline anymore, and I certainly am glad about that. There are other ways to discipline, and I actually sometimes think that the way we do it now, some methods are more harmful. Quick smack and then you're done with, but sometimes being told off and shouted at is worse. But anyway, I try to reason. I would normally only shout if I was scared, like for their safety or something like that. But no one's perfect. Right. Yeah, I think that's done. I'm gonna do those for now, even though like I've been on for hours, because no, not quite hours, because I'll forget. So I'm going to do them in blue because I want them to look different to the these beads and things. So I've got this bluish turquoise that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to try and make them a bit darker around the edges. And then we'll put a bit of white on them. Now I'm contemplating white on the container and where I'm going to not do any now. Oh, this is the Jelly Roll 8. I'm going to put the white on these gemstones, beads, whatever they are, but not on the actual container. I'll have a think. I'm pretty sure I want to do some, but I'm going to leave it because I need a coffee. So we'll revisit that tomorrow, but I think we've done a lot today anyway. Let's have a look. We're getting there. Could probably finish this page in the next video, this side. Oops. There we go. Yeah, we probably could, because we've just got those gemstones and things to do. Anyway, thank you for watching today. I hope that you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.